Good morning, friends. Look behind me, you can see the sun is still not up. It's just in the morning, it's 6:40 in the morning. So this is a special video I wanted to make because most of you, if you're coming to Canada or living in Canada, you need to go to work, right? So in the morning it's a different story altogether in the winter. So right now I make this video special in the morning today because today it's just minus 10. So pretty lucky, right? It's 10 degrees Celsius. I was actually looking into the weather for the forecast, and I saw like, oh yeah, nice, minus 10, because yesterday it was minus 20 in the morning, and the day before minus 22. So I thought like, maybe I just wait 2 days and then I make my special video in the morning. So the thing is, mornings in Canada are different. Like honestly, like you're thinking, oh, dude, what can be really different? So the thing is, especially like if you're, let's say, from Europe, Germany, France, or England. So the thing is, right in the morning, here everything is frozen, completely solid frozen. And that's because it's really freezing in the night, right? So in the morning when you get up, one of the first things you actually are doing is actually getting the car started. So what we have in Canada, I'll show you here. See those things? So these are cables for the car, and you plug the cars in. Sounds strange, huh? Plugging your car in, huh? But this is for the oil, so the oil doesn't freeze in the night. Yes, you heard me right. The oil in the car might freeze. I don't mean the petroleum, but the oil for the engine and such. And like even the oil and diesel can freeze. Like I'm serious, because it freezes when it starts minus 40. And the car, like it gets sluggish and everything. It's really bad for the engine. So we plug in our cars, especially like middle in the winter time. If you don't do it in the morning, the car might not start. You can't go to work. That's a fact. So you have to start the car, have to plug it in. And otherwise, you have to start the car in the morning. And most of the cars in Canada have a remote controller, so you can start it while being in home drinking your hot coffee. Otherwise, you have to get out in the morning, in the freezing morning, like I did, because my Toyota Yaris, or the version, doesn't have a remote control. Look at this, the sun is finally coming up. See right there. And then you have to quickly get out and get the car started, because it needs 10-20 minutes maybe, depending on how cold it is. And if you don't do it, eventually you are gonna ruin the engine. Then you have to buy a new engine. Buying a new engine is like buying a new car. And like everything then is like you have to wear really thick clothes and everything. So the thing is, when many people look at average temperature and such, when they are going to look where they are going to live and such, look at how peaceful, nothing. You can tell it's 3 in the morning. There's no rush hour yet, nothing. No one going to work yet. But eventually, so in the mornings are then tough. Right now, like, I can feel it, like it's just minus 10, but because it's a morning, it's different. So also, because it's in the morning, and it's Canada is so far north, it means the mornings start earlier, hours earlier than, let's say, I don't know, in Egypt, because I'm closer to the equator than we are closer. They are closer to the equator, and we are closer, the angle. So in the summertime, you get lots of the sunshine from like, I don't know, like 5 in the morning until 10, and so it's like at 10 in the night. There's still some sun out. Oh, I can feel my hand is freezing. So like you have to really wear a lot of things. Like I have a long underwear underneath, 2 sock pairs. Like it depends on like how tough you are against cold. Some Canadians, they don't care about cold, not much, so they heat up their car as much as possible, and then just from the car, from the house to the car, they just run in quickly, and then say like they drive to their workplace, and then just quickly. Also in the workplace, many work stations, they have plug-ins for the car. University, then our famous Tim Hortons coffee. Many places have them because it's kind of an essential, because it is like it happens that we get blizzards, snowstorms, and minus 40 degrees, a cold, chill weather, and then you really need to plug it in, which can be a hassle. Like, imagine it's minus 40 degrees outside, and then you have to find the plug-in, and then like, oh my god, where is it, and plug it in. It can be really tough, and you have to know about those things, because when it happens, you should know about it, because otherwise you're like, okay, where do I plug it in? And then you're then searching for the plug-in. Minus 40, good luck. And this is like something that happens to new Canadians. They are too late in the winter time. Happens so many times because they didn't have a scraper, or a really bad scraper. You have to have a good scraper. If you don't have a good scraper, then your windshield will be messy, and people are like sometimes lazy, and then they just carve out a little piece so they can just barely look outside. This is something like my cousin did. Oh, look at that sun. So bright, beautiful, isn't it? And look, yeah. See, I told you, it's right in the morning. No one outside yet. Crossing the road, oh my god, how dangerous in Canada, right? See, no one. But early mornings, so some of you guys have maybe work where you get up earlier than everyone else. Usually it's a good thing. That means you're flexible with your workplaces and work time and everything, and you don't get into traffic. Sounds good, yeah, but it means in Canada, especially like if you're like working night shifts and such, oh, brutal. Cause like Canada's prepared for winter, you know, Canada's prepared. Emergencies and whatnot all. But it means for you still, you have to toughen it out, because you are not the whole time within some space that is heated and everything. You have to get from your house to the car and everything, and then you have to think about the children. They have to get in the morning to school. Like, I'm still looking left and right because I'm used to it from Germany. Like, here people are not really that much looking left to right, because drivers are supposed to really look after you, and the Canadians really do. So like, as I said, for the children here they're getting picked up by the bus. No, we didn't have that in Germany. Definitely not. Like, by each house, they're stopping at each house and picking the children up. Not the adult ones, but the small children. And so some others, they just walk because it's really close if they live there. So what that means, you have to think that they need proper clothing. Like right now, my hands, especially like the one I'm holding the camera, freezing. You don't want your children or your wife, your husband, and so your family and friends freezing. So you have to get proper clothing and everything, proper protection. It sounds like so weird I'm mentioning something small like this, but really you do have to, because most of us newcomers in Canada, we underestimate how dangerous the cold is, how harsh it is, and then we get cold. And it's just not about like catching a cold, you know. It's really about being in a space suddenly where you have to wait for a bus or somewhere, or you have to walk suddenly an hour to home, and then it's minus 30, or like the night catches up, and then the temperature drops. And even in the afternoon with the sun, it can be really freezing cold. So do keep that in mind. Weather is really important in Canada in the winter time. You have to get prepared. You have to know things about the winter to be prepared before stuff happens. So it's beautiful right now. Like, I can tell you, like the air, it's so fresh, it's so clean. But you can listen. Already, like I'm sneezing. It's beautiful. It's absolutely, like, absolutely beautiful. Ah, by the way, I want to say this. First of all, you see the some of my subscribers. Yes, again I have a beard, because you can see already from my cheeks it's freezing. So on purpose I didn't shave myself. Some protection. It helps in the winter time. The other thing is, this is like a small weird thing, but I still wanted to mention it. One good thing in the winter time is it's really quiet, because, well, you know, like all the guys that are really loud and the bad people who are making noises outside, racing cars and such, they're not doing this in winter time, because it's slippery, it's freezingly cold and everything, so it's way more quiet. Also, crime in the winter time is very, very low, because who's gonna get outside by minus 40 and doing bad stuff? No one, because like you might freeze to death. Actually freeze to death. That happens. This is why like winter time is a really safe time. Here you forgot to close your door, to lock your doors. No big deal. No one's checking it. Summertime, big difference. I will talk about this in the future as well. Just so you know, winter time is quite safe except for the weather. This is the biggest thing that you need to be then careful. So hope you like the special one. If you find something here and you want me to talk about, which there are still many topics I'm going to cover, just tell me. And see you in the next one. Cheers.